Welcome to our 26th episode of Power Alphas. I'm one of your co-hosts, Sabby Piscitelli, and as always, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fiance, Mandy Saccomanno. How you doing today, baby?
Doing great. Thank you guys for joining another episode of Power Alphas.
Yep.
What's going on?
Nothing. Loving life. Weather's been nice down here.
It got hot, and then
It got hot. And
got a little cooler.
A little cool front came through. When I say cool, I mean like low 80s.
You love your cool
High
fronts.
60s at night. That's perfect, though. But it's about to get scorching hot down here in Florida. So we got to appreciate the, decent days, right? The 80s.
Yeah, for sure. That's why we're going to we are going up to New York for the summer. Because New York summers are more like weather like today.
Really?
Like if it's sunny, it's not like scorching hot. You don't have that crazy humidity. That's why, and I also haven't been up in New York for a summer in a long time. So I'm actually excited because I've been living in Florida for the past 10 years almost.
I'm actually really excited.
Crazy.
I'm really excited as well, too, because I've never spent the whole summer there. But I'm excited. I'm excited to go out there, be in the house, and we got a lot of fixing up to do.
Maybe it'll be
put our
fun.
little backyard nice little sitting area.
Mm-hmm. We have a lot of plans this weekend this summer for our wedding, bridal showers, bachelorettes,
Golf trips.
bachelor party.
Guys, golf trip.
Every time I call Sabby's bachelor party, he keeps saying, no, it's a golf trip.
It is golf trip.
That's fine, but I don't say mine's a wine tour. It's still
Should be a wine tour.
not just a wine tour.
No, that's all that's happening is the wine and the tour. Right, Ben?
Yes, sir.
Yo, the best part is she should be ecstatic of where I'm going. We're probably
decided for
We're
sure?
probably going to Big Cedar Lodge in Missouri, which is in the middle of nowhere.
The least amount of hot girls are going
there's
to be out
probably
of
no
Missouri.
girls. Actually, there's probably no girls at this location,
Good.
which is great.
That's great. We love that.
But I'm excited because Tiger Woods has a course out there that he designed personally. I think it's called Payne Valley. And then there's a couple other. I think there's 5 courses total at this resort. So I'm excited. Hopefully, get that finalized in the next week or so. But yeah, babe, you should be extremely, extremely at ease because I don't know if there will be a female in a 100-mile radius.
I love it. I'll make sure there's no females in a 100-mile radius or
Yeah?
200-mile radius
Same
or
thing with you.
300-mile radius. What is your plans for your bachelor party? Is it just wake up, golf?
Oh,
go
you
to
mean
sleep,
what's
golf?
my plan for the golf trip?
Golf trip.
Yeah, see, Ben can't even keep me accountable here.
No, I'm curious. I know it's just...
It's literally wake up, golf, have lunch, golf, shower, have dinner,
golf.
Go to sleep, wake up,
With
golf.
your clubs, golf.
Yeah, because sometimes we might sleep with our golf clubs in our beds just so we
Right.
get that connection
Yeah.
of how good we can
Especially
swing it the next
'Cause
day.
I'm not going to be there, so maybe, shove the golf club up your ass a little bit.
Oh, that's too much.
All right, too far.
PG.
Too far.
No,
yeah.
but Ben, where's her mind at, buddy?
Well, sometimes I'm not even exaggerating, guys. We've gotten into fights about it, but it's sometimes I wonder, I don't know, you might love golf more than you love me.
Oh my God, are we going down this road again? Yo, Ben, that's the problem. She doesn't realize that she fell in love with an alpha.
I fell in love with golf.
An
remember?
alpha male, a man who was gifted and grateful to be a professional athlete at the highest level. So that means you got to have, guys who play in college, even in college, a high level of college, even the pros, you have a different level of competitive nature, right? You have a different level of, you got to stimulate yourself in a challenging way every single day. And I know a lot of people play pickleball, but I'm not playing pickleball. I play golf. Okay.
Why don't you want to play pickleball? We could play pickleball together.
Right now, Scotty Scheffler is on an incredible run, and I would like to challenge Scotty Scheffler. No, I'm just playing. Just playing.
All right,
just
podcast
joking.
is over.
Just joking. But,
no, guys, he comes home sometimes and he shoots really well. And I honestly, I
have no idea what it means, but yeah.
No, all joking aside, the way you play sometimes in practice, it's like you are planning on getting a tryout for the PGA Tour.
First of all, no, I'm not.
I don't know how it works if they do tryouts, but if anyone's out there listening,
she's such an
Sabby
exaggerator.
Piscitelli here shot a 79 the other day, and I think he's ready for the PGA Tour.
No, not yet, but
Sabby,
soon.
would you consider it? Like if
No.
I'm just serious. I'm serious.
No,
If someone came
not
to you
even
and was
close.
like, "Hey, you wanna play real
Hey,
golf?"
all bullshit
He
aside,
would
though,
consider
Ben.
it.
All bullshit aside, if I was a couple years out of the NFL and I was still in that like phase of like transitional phase, like before WWE called me, because I actually contemplated going back to baseball and trying to make a run. Because I was recruited out of high school to the pros, and I was like, man, if I could train for like 2 years, hit some BP, maybe with the colleges, I could really make a run. But that got shot down in my head pretty quick because then WWE called me. But like, I had that competitive nature. If I was like young 30s and I was single and I had no obligations, I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to do it because golf is like a sport where you have to play it your whole life to be good at it. I don't care who you are. Like, it just, I mean, one of my close friends, Michael Vick, is probably the greatest athlete to ever step on a football field, if not top 3. And he's obsessed with it as well. But he can't just go out there and shoot scratch golf. It's just not what it's like. It doesn't matter how athletic you are, how gifted you are. It's something that the reputation is in the hundreds of thousands of repetitions to get actually decent at golf. That's
Well,
far fetched. But
the amount that you're playing,
in my head,
you're on that.
head, I'm challenging. In
You're,
my head, I want to be like, yeah, I can make it, but I can't make it. No.
So I mean, I think that's what you're trying to do, though. The more reps,
Yeah, the
playing
more
every
reps.
day,
Yeah.
eventually maybe you'll
No,
get
let
there.
me tell you what pisses me off. I'm gonna tell you what pisses you off. Now she's kind of peeling back the onion, right? She like thinks I'm so competitive. Right? I'm gonna tell you why right now.
Oh boy.
So I go over to my club I'm a member at, and there are these dorks, these nerds
Don't be mean.
that played golf their whole life that whip my butt on the golf course. And boy, does it drive me insane when I see a kid and I look at him, I'm like, bro, you are nowhere near as athletically gifted as I am. There's no way.
That's how the
There's
sport
no way
is.
you should be this much better than me at golf. And that motivates me to catch up but that's just like instilled who I am as a kid. I remember like, I couldn't even play Nintendo because if I lost, I'd break the controller and throw it at the TV. My mom wouldn't let me play. But
Anger management.
So honestly, like she laughs at me like how, I play 2 or 3 times a week for sure. I try to get my rounds in golf 100%. But for me, it's like almost like a personal challenge that I go to the course and these guys been playing golf their whole life just can whoop the shit out of me and it just pisses me off.
Babe, can I break it down to you?
No.
Can I say something?
No.
You can't be good at everything.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be good when I'm all said and done.
Just like these dorks that you call at the golf course,
Sorry.
aren't gonna be good at football or good at other sports. Like not everyone's
But
good at everyone.
they're
That's
better
what
at me at golf, and I don't
because
like
they
it.
started when they were young, and that's all they do. And
Okay.
Yeah,
Give me a couple
so-
more years. I'm coming.
okay,
I'm coming.
so anyway, besides getting off the golf conversation, last week Monday Night Raw they crowned a new women's champion.
Yeah, who was that?
Oh, you didn't see?
Did not see. Sorry.
Savvy's not watching the product, guys. No.
Nope, I'm not watching. I didn't watch Raw last week.
No. They crowned Becky Lynch won the Battle Royal, which there's quite some controversy on that because I think it's her 7-time championship reign, and a lot of people wanted to see Liv Morgan win it because Liv is kind of in a storyline with Rhea. Rhea had to vacate her,
Yep, I saw
her
that.
title because she was injured. Ironically, she got injured by Liv, her shoulder, and that's how she injured Liv 6 months ago or however long it was, by her shoulder. So it's kind of ironic. But yeah, there's some controversy. There's some rumors also that like Becky was going to take a little hiatus, a little vacation. Her book is doing well, and she has a kid, so she was going to take a little hiatus. And there was a rumor going around, I don't know how true this was, is that once Rhea got injured, they kind of called Becky and was like, "Oh no, we need you, and we need you to, hold
Carry
this
the
title
women's
or
division?
carry the women's division or whatever that was said." That's a rumor. Who knows if it's true? But yeah. So there's some controversy on that. I think though, my opinion is going to be that they want Liv to have an even bigger moment. So Liv has always been like the underdog, and now they're saying that she's constantly the runner-up because she was the runner-up at the Royal Rumble. Now, runner-up at the Battle Royal. She's just been the runner-up. Like, she's been so close to winning but not winning, so people are getting kind of frustrated. But I think they're going to give her the opportunity in the sense of, like, giving Becky the giving Becky the title, but then having Liv take the title off Becky, which is going to mean more than winning the Battle Royal, is my assumption.
That's your opinion?
Yeah, and I
like
think
it. Is that your prediction?
My prediction, yeah.
Write it down.
Liv Morgan's one of my good friends. I think she really deserves it. I love what she's doing right now on TV, and I think that that's going to be a big moment because then when Rhea comes back, they obviously have unfinished business, the two of them, and they're going to go into a big storyline, and I think that's going to be really big and really exciting for them. So that's the kind of WWE news, in case you were wondering, if you cared.
Well, I'm still kind of mad that they didn't recognize your name in that promo, so I'm kind of like boycotting them right now, to be honest with you.
All right, that's
I don't
fine.
really like how they disrespected your name. They disrespected what you did, and I think it's pity. So I might not watch for a while.
That's all right. I mean, you don't really watch that much in general.
Yeah,
you
I
just
know.
kind of we watch the big shows, and I just watch here and there to see some of my girls. You know, I like to support some of my friends, but
I did see there were some releases in the last couple weeks, and I did see a couple superstars put out some emotional videos. Cameron Grimes, I saw that one. And, you know, the message I would say to those guys, you know, I know it's rough right now. We both went through it.
Yep.
I know it's one of those moments where, you know, obviously you guys worked your whole life to get to that pinnacle, and you made it, and you accomplished something great. And I know you kind of feel the low of lows right now, but I could tell you one thing. The feeling you have right now is not going to last forever. And I promise you that there's a lot more opportunities out there for you guys. There's a lot more things you can do because you've been so successful in the wrestling world. You really, I know it's hard to see now, and I saw some emotional videos, but I can promise you when I tell you that you don't need them like they convince you like they do. You will be okay. You'll be successful. Continue your work ethic. Continue to be motivated and driven to do what you love to do. If it's wrestling, if it's teaching wrestling, if it's coaching, if it's getting another whole industry, being in the WWE will catapult you into other opportunities. So I just want to kind of give those people a little bit of words of wisdom.
Yeah.
I went through it. You went through it. It's like the high of all highs, the lows of all lows.
Yeah, it's regardless of the situation, you know, you really don't want to ever get that phone call from anything, you know,
No,
getting released or
Yep.
getting fired from a job or whatever you want to call it. I think across the board, nobody wants to get that phone call. And Sabby kind of always reminded me, even when I was, you know, high in my career, it was like, you know, just enjoy the moment and really enjoy what you're doing right now and appreciate what you're doing. Because, you know, unfortunately, one day it sounds pessimistic, but unfortunately one day, you know, you will get that call, and I think everyone will get that call, and it's a shitty call. It's, you know, your heart kind of drops to your stomach. But to your point, I do agree, and I think this time, you know, this too shall pass, and it's going to get better. And, you know, you made it to the top, which is you know, in the wrestling world, it's a huge accomplishment. You know, nowadays I think it's great because back then there weren't much competition in wrestling.
Yeah,
you know, they
you're
didn't
right.
have AEW, they had a lot of independent leagues and all that. But I think now there's a lot of other opportunities out there. And like you said, there's, you know, some of these people that maybe have been wrestling their whole life. It is very, very disappointing, but it's also one of those things where like there's other options out there. There's other opportunities, coaching, producing, if you still want to wrestle, whatever it may be. But that's why I was such a big believer, and I tried to instill this in a lot of the women nowadays, especially with social media, is grow your brand, do the thing, go outside of the box and work on, even if it's doing stupid TikTok dances. Like I see some of the girls are doing it more now, and I love it because it's like, grow your social media, because that's what you have. You have your brand. So when that phone call does come,
And everyone, it's going to come for everybody. I promise you, it's coming from
I don't
everybody.
care how big you are, but it's like when it does come, you have something to fall back on, or maybe there's a project
Absolutely.
that you know, are really excited to get into, but you couldn't get into it while you were there because it's a third party situation or whatever it may be, or your own brand. Like, you know, have that and just kind of run with it, because we're all creative in our own way, right? We wouldn't be here today if we didn't have that creative side, which is a blessing. So yeah, it is shitty, but at the end of the day, like it's you know, this too shall pass.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This too shall pass. That's a great way to look at it. And also, people want to realize too, like these guys are getting released. Having WWE on your resume is strong, right? You know, you have good negotiation power. You have a little bit of, you know, they want to see you. You have a little bit of, people are going to want to
Equity.
give you opportunity. Equity, exactly right. So, you know, hats off to those guys. I'm sorry you had to go through it. The truth is, it probably won't be the last time you ever get released or from an organization, but it's one of them things where you just got to get back on that horse. Let this thing go past and get back to work. And I promise you, I went through it twice in my career. I didn't know what I was going to do when I finished playing in the NFL, and then when we kind of got, when I parted ways with WWE, it was one of them things where it was very unknown space for me. But what kept me really driven was staying hard in my routine, waking up every day and me versus me, and trying to be a better version of myself. And what got me successful on college level, on the pro level, and on the wrestling level, I just kept that in the routine. And I really, really buckled down on my routine. And, God willing, put all your trust in God. And I think it's a beautiful thing. Me and Mandy were actually talking about this weekend. Like, I look at us now, even like a year ago or 2 years ago, we didn't know what the future was going to bring. And it's been a great last couple of years, right? We don't know what 2 years from now is going to bring.
Right.
But we all can control what we can control. And what we can control is what we talk about in this podcast, right? The routines, the how hard we work. And for me, it's something
Good
that
habits.
these people the habits, right? The great habits, the good habits you instilled. And I think people that do get released, sometimes they can go down that rabbit hole. Don't go down the rabbit hole. There's opportunities. There's places you can make a lot of money out there. And not just in wrestling, because like you said, you have a brand now, right? You have a brand you were with WWE. So it's actually an exciting thing.
Yeah.
You don't see it now, but it's exciting.
I'll never forget the day I got released, and I told you this. I was driving home. It was about a 2.5-hour drive. I did it a lot when I was in NXT. And I was driving home, and I had so many different mixed emotions, obviously. My social media it was hard to look at a lot of stuff, obviously. It was trending, and my fans were amazing. But there was a lot of rumors. I had my family concerned here and there just because of these stupid headlines. And it was a lot. You and Frankie were at the house. Frankie is Sabby's cousin. He was doing some work at our house and was staying with us for a while. So I remember, I'll never forget. And instead of and this is kind of just in my nature, I try to always look at the positive as much as it could be negative or whatever it is. I just remember driving and being like, wow, there are so many things that I can do now.
You almost felt free. The handcuffs were off.
There was this freeing feeling of oh my God, I remember that guy that emailed me about blah, blah, blah. And now, I told him, no, there's no chance. They'll never let me do it. Now I could do that. This brand, this. I mean, there's so many different little endorsements that I couldn't take. And remember, when I came into WWE, I already had a little bit of a following, and I was in the fitness world. So I had to give up some of those endorsements.
Of course.
And, whatever.
You left a lot of money on the table in the
Yeah, but it
career.
was for good reason. It was more, in the aspect of to make more money or to build more of a brand. So I didn't mind it. But obviously in that moment when that gets taken away from you and then you realize that, there's so many other things. So there was this freeing feeling. So for those people that, will one day get that call or maybe has been through that, and you can talk to many people that been through it, and, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think, having your purpose is what we were just talking about earlier too, is a big thing. And that's why it's always good to have I joke around with you about the golf thing, but I really don't care that he plays golf every day, guys. It's not
every day.
You know what I mean? But
Stop with the blah, blah, blah.
Having a good good habits or good, maybe fun hobbies or whatever it may be. Maybe it's not, necessarily making you money. And although he bets and sometimes he wins, he always tells me that. The other day he won 400. Woo!
No, no high five for that, man.
Left me hanging for that one.
Yep, no high five.
But my point is that whatever it may be, having your purpose. We were just talking to Sabby's mom, and Sabby's mom and dad are retired, and they did a really good job with saving their money and, being able to retire, where it's very tough nowadays, right? So if you're not smart with your money, and his mom was just talking to us about, how your dad is and how they're both very busy. Your mom stays very busy around the house, but your dad kind of goes a little bit insane here and there because he's retired and he's always been used to doing so many things. So it's what other little projects can they get into? And I think that's a big thing with my dad. I always try to tell him to relax or at least just stay home and not do anything. And he's like, what am I going to do? Sit on the couch and watch TV all day? That's what bums do. And I'm like, no, but you doing it wouldn't be a bum. You work stupid hours still at, 65 years old. but it's just in their
It's in their nature.
Their nature,
It's
right?
Yeah,
And
it's who they have become.
right. And we are like them for sure, and we're the same way. So I think the two of us, and we joke around sometimes because we do have a very blessed lifestyle right now, and we don't have to do anything we don't want to, thankfully. But that's the blessing of the hard work and the sacrifice that we both put in for, you for over 20 years and me for a little,
But no, that's
that's
a great point, because that's something we can even talk about in this podcast that we talk about, because, I had like we talked about, I had a privilege to make, really good money in my 20s. And the decision I made in my 20s when I was making really good money was to be financially literate and figure out how this money I'm making now can give me the opportunity. And it's not, I don't want to say it's the wrong way, because we always have to work. Every day, me and you are working how to make more money, how to make different money. Mind's always racing.
Of course.
I always want to get to a point financially where I don't want to do anything I don't want to do.
Don't have to do.
Have to do, sorry.
Yes.
Anything I don't have to do.
That's exactly what,
Yeah, meaning, so like for me, and you, we had this conversation actually the other day, we were laying in bed, and I know you've had, a couple good years, and of course, we don't know how you can sustain all of it. It's going to go ups and downs, and other opportunities are going to come. But what you've done such a great job of making the money you've made, you haven't lived up to it. You haven't bought all these new things, and you invest, and you're smart with your money, and your lifestyle didn't change much. And some of the best advice I got is like, people start making more money and their lifestyle bumps up. And the problem is, if you could bump up your lifestyle your income 2x and keep the same lifestyle, and then do it again. Bump up your lifestyle another 1x, keep the same lifestyle. The ability to be able to store and invest and save that much money, that can give you the opportunity to say, I don't have millions of dollars, but I have the freedom of not doing something if I don't want to do it. And I think that's the position that we try to put ourselves in is, we always got to work. We always got to make more money. But if you're blessed to make a lot of money, view it as an opportunity to set up the rest of your life, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what life brings you. So if you could always put that comfort blanket aside, to me, that was financial freedom, right? That was, for me, like, that's what made me exciting. If I was making $1 million or whatever, that's easy math. If you're making $1 million, but if I was living like I was making $250, which $250 is a lot of money,
right?
But that's 1/4 of what I'm making. So that would be an opportunity to be able to invest and
Use
save
the
a
other
lot of money
to invest.
Exactly right. And that's what people, I think, get misconstrued about financial literacy, is they go from 100,000 to 200,000 and like, oh, I doubled my money. Let me go buy a new car. Let me buy a new house. Let me buy all these new clothes. Well, now your lifestyle just bumped up. So at the end of the day, your financial freedom isn't any different.
Yeah, it's hard to sustain that lifestyle, and that's a big thing. It's like, that's why a lot of young people, or whether it's athletes or whatnot, if they get into a lot of money young, and then all of a sudden, their contract's up in a couple of years or whatever it is, if they're not sustaining that lifestyle, well then, of course your money's gonna get low, and you're gonna be like, all of a sudden, where is all my money? Oh, I spent it all, instead of maybe investing it, which is the smart way to go. But I think that's the financial literacy that people miss a lot, though.
100%.
Especially when you're young. They don't teach this in school.
No, they don't teach it in school. And for me,
I mean, they should teach this in school, not half the bullshit that we learn.
And for me, it's like, I told you this. I mean, I was blessed and fortunate to make 7 figures at 23 years old. And for me, I was more scared at that point to go broke, because I was like, God blessed me coming out of college to get a 7-figure signing bonus. And I was like, how dare me be disrespectful and go broke, right? That was how I viewed money, right? I was different. I guess that my mom
Well, you had a
instilled in
really
me.
good mom that really taught you a lot with that. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that might not have that that leisure of having a good parent to kind of guide them. And you kind of feel bad, because it's a kid's got to get guided. A kid doesn't know how to do that.
100%.
So luckily, you did have a good foundation to go off of.
Even the piggyback on financial literacy we're talking about right now, people don't understand the interest of the the concept of compound interest, of compound saving. Like if I told somebody save $100 a week, most people are gonna be like, $100 is nothing. That's not enough money. Okay, but if you did $100 a week, okay, that's $400 a month, right? Do the math on that times 12. That's what you'll have at the end of your bank account every year. You do that for 10 years straight. That's going to compound interest. And that's what people misconstrued as like the little things. In my opinion, I think it's the little things that get people in trouble. Going to Starbucks every single day for an $8 coffee. Like, that's crazy as she drinks her Starbucks. But it's if people are on budgets, like I've heard, I just watched something, a clip the other day. No, you're blessed not to be on a budget. But you still are on a budget
I still
of
am.
your own budget.
Yes,
See,
no, for sure.
A budget,
no,
it's in perspective though, right?
Sorry.
No, but honestly, but it's in perspective though.
No, I know what you mean, because people will attack me for that too.
No, but it's in perspective though. Like everyone's budget's differently, right?
Of course.
Everybody's financial state is differently.
Starbucks is expensive.
But I'm just talking about the little, people realize that the little things add up to be big things at the end of the day.
100%.
And like,
going to the gas station and getting a couple energy drinks and a pack of gum, and if you do it every day, it's going to add up.
100%. And people don't realize the. I remember, I'll tell you a quick story if we can get off financial literacy, but I remember when I was playing in the NFL, somebody said something to me that blew my mind. So, back when, of course, when I got in the NFL, even any pro athletes, the cool thing was, you go to a club, you get a table, you get bottles, you get girls, your whole section's yours, you're all cool, whatever, right? So I never drank in my career, ever. But I would go once in a while. If I had group boys in town, I'd go to a club and I'd treat my boys. We'd get a couple bottles, a little table, a little section to hang out. And I remember one time, my buddy says to me, how much you spend, or let's say you spend $5,000 tonight on a table. He goes, yeah, you ain't spending $5,000. He goes, you're spending $250,000. I said, what do you mean, bro? He goes, imagine if I took that $5,000 and we invested. What is it in 30 years, 40 years? What if you put, every time you spend $5,000 in a club, say you do 10 times you spend $5,000 in a club, that's $50K. What if I put that $50K away and invested $50K in 30 years? What is it?
Yeah.
What's $50K in 30 years, right? So when I started thinking like, holy shit, you blowing $5,000 in a club and say you're making $1 million, you think it's nothing, but you're like, hold on, if I invested that $5K,
oh yeah,
what could have been in 10 years? $100,000?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it all depends, but that blew me away when I started realizing like that perspective is like these guys that go to the club and spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. Yeah, they got it. Of course they got it. But what if you invested that?
Yeah.
And multiply
half the time it's like mostly to show off anyway. It's so stupid.
But that's just an example
like,
that changed me financially. Was like somebody said to me, "You're not spending $5, you're spending." He just said like he said like a crazy number. He said you spend like $100,000. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, what if we invested that?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a good point, and it's a lot of things when you really think about it. Like just certain things that we spend that we don't realize after a while. You're like, oh, if I didn't spend that, and it might not seem like a lot, but over time, it's a lot.
100%.
So. Okay, financial literacy 101.
We're still learning every day.
We are, and it's a very good topic.
Buy Bitcoin.
To know. Oh gosh, Bitcoin.
Love Bitcoin.
Yes.
Let's go Bitcoin.
Okay, so we have a few emails to answer.
Oh, I love questions.
We love your emails. If you guys didn't know, please email us at poweralphaspodcast@gmail.com. to state any opinions, ask some questions, whatever it may be. But email number 1. Hey there, Mandy. Dirk here. Big fan of the podcast. I wondered if you guys could share your views on something. With the general perception and standard of body goals, quote unquote, quote, body goals, and fitness is being skewed by many public personalities across all media that falsely profess to be natural while having physiques that are unattainable naturally. What are your thoughts on risking and compromising wealth with substances and PEDs in order to chase aesthetic body goals?
Ooh, who wrote that?
Very intelligent. Dirk. Dirk wrote that.
Dirk wrote that?
Dirk wrote that. Do you know Dirk?
No, I don't know Dirk.
Okay.
I like
Do you know
that, though.
Dirk? I like Dirk, though, too. Me too.
That's a good question because
It
he's
is.
right. There is people out there that do illegal substance. They do whatever they take out there. Now, there's a lot of all natural substance you could probably take, like a peptide.
Yeah.
I've been on peptides on and off for years. I do love them. It's all natural. I did speak that I've never taken an illegal supplement. I'm proud of that. But here's the problem. Do not ever compare yourself to another individual. And that's why if you follow me on social media, I always say it's you versus you, right? It's It's really is you versus you. So don't think you said like the question was, oh, these people in Instagram or social media, and they claim that they're all natural and they look like a human, Superman, whatever it is. You can't judge them, right? It's not my point or my place to say. Obviously, some people are very, very obvious. They take steroids or whatever it is. But that's why when you set goals for yourself, challenge yourself to become better. Don't compare yourself to the guy on Instagram with his six-pack out. Because obviously, like we talked about earlier, is like, I look the way I look for a couple of reasons. And one is, yes, I was born with that skinny gene. And I was always active. And genetically, I've been gifted to have the athletic frame. But for me, the way I look was I've been doing this my whole life. And my dad used to make me do push-ups and sit-ups at 5 years old. And he used to tell me, I'm going to have you the best body in the world, like as like a joke, but that's what he would say to me. But so that's longevity. That's consistency that we always speak about. But
compound interest.
Compound interest. My boy Dan Matha said on one of my posts, but it's compound interest, right? It's every single day for years after years after years going to the gym. But if you're just starting out, do not compare yourself to somebody who's been doing it for 30 years because it's not fair. You can even take the best steroids in the world right now and you won't look like me. And you won't look like the guy in Joe Blow that competes. You won't look like that. You can take the best supplements in the world. It's not going to happen because you can take all the supplements in the world, but if you're not training hard, nothing's going to come out of it.
And time is like
the
is 100%. Number one thing.
So I would say do not look and compare yourself to anybody. You versus you, set goals. Get on any supplements you want. If you want to just do creatine or protein. If you want to do an all-natural peptide, learn about them. They are all natural. They're not harmful. They're actually helpful. And then set your goals. Do not set how somebody else looks on Instagram.
Yeah, and your second part of the question was like, what are your thoughts on risking and compromising health with substances? Like, I personally don't think that's worth it because why would you risk your health with, God forbid, down the road, we all know steroids aren't good for you or whatever it may be. Even this Ozempic train, like I don't know much about the Ozempic. I don't want to talk about it like I do, but like anything we put, anything that's new, you don't really know the side effects because time, you don't know what it could potentially, risk you later on or even the benefits or whatever it may be. So, there's a lot of things that are out there that are healthy and there's proof and there's evidence and there's research that you can look up. But also, it's not just the males, like it's even the women like nowadays. Like I've been training for a really long time. I take a lot of pride in training like my legs and my glutes and I've trained so long and it's like, there's a lot of girls now walk around with these fake butt implants and it's like, listen, I don't judge. I don't care what you do. If that's what makes you happy, some of them look terrible, but it is what it is. But it's like you got these girls busting their ass in the gym, squatting for years and years. You can tell the difference, And I don't think, to be honest, I think there's a lot of really bad cases out there that, it's really dangerous. Like you hear these stories where you could die. Like it's like, I don't know the situation and what is, but it's very scary. So to your point of like, comparing to social media is probably the worst thing you can do because social media, first of all, half of it's not real. And you also now have Photoshop. You have all these things that you can't compare yourself to someone how they look on social media, especially with all these crazy trends and weird things that people are doing these days.
And to answer that last question, is the risk versus reward? Absolutely not.
No.
And
you'll feel way better if you're natural.
She just said something too, like the Ozempic thing. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not being disrespectful, but like, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Mm-hmm. And somebody losing 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds from a shot without the work ethic, without the dedication, without the sacrifice, there's going to be side effects. I don't care how you spin it. Like, if it's too easy, right, then it's not worth it. It's not, because the only thing that's worth it is putting in that grind, putting in that consistency, putting in that time. So, these people who do take steroids, I promise you there's a side effect. And they want a quick fix, right? So for me, no, it's not worth it.
No, it's not.
That's why it's every single day you versus you, and that's mentality. That's of life. That is life. Every day is a challenge. Challenge yourself. So, to go back to that, it's definitely not worth it.
No, I agree. Email number 2. Hello, Sabby and Mandy. My name is Aaron. I love your podcast. My question is for Sabby. Can you talk about your college career and NFL career? Funny and interesting stories with teammates and opposing teams, favorite rivalries, etc. Do you have any good stories for them?
My college and pro career.
Some interesting ones maybe that people would like to listen to.
Well, that's a
or
good question.
Maybe someone they might know that.
My college
story.
career was a little interesting because I went from Florida all the way to Oregon State. I didn't play football that long in high school, so my opportunities weren't as much. So I went all the way across the country, and we used to have like a huge rivalry in high school football. Florida and Cali, like who was better? Who was the better athletes? And it was always a constant rivalry. So when I went to Oregon State, a lot of the players who went to Oregon State were from the West Coast, obviously, right? Like California. They had a lot of people from Hawaii, Arizona, Oregon. So a Florida boy came out there. For me, early in my career, it was a constant battle of fighting in practice, fighting for why I was there, fighting to be the best. So for me, early in my career, there was a lot of just fights. And for me, I had to earn my stripes. And when I earned them, though, I was the guy who became the guy that everyone wanted to be, right? Humbly, I mean this, but like, it's because of my work ethic. So for me, in college, I was so focused, man. I had like those the blinders, like when the horse race, those blinders. I didn't care about nothing else but football. I never smoked, never drank, never partied. I didn't even care about the college life. All I wanted to do was be the best football player at that time and then make it to the NFL. So for me, I look back, and I'm very grateful for my experiences, but I do wish that I had lived in the moment more in college, because college was an amazing time in my life. I accomplished so much. I have some of the great relationships I still have to this day that are in college, because when you play college football, or when I played, it's changed now, but college football, the camaraderie is amazing, because everybody is there, and it's true work ethic, and it's true competitiveness. You versus you, and the better man's going to win. The better man wants to go to the NFL. So it's just a different mentality when you get to the pros. The pros is like a business, right? The pros is everybody that got there is the best of the best. Who's getting paid the most? What contract? Who's in the contract year? And you don't form that camaraderie in the pros because it's more of a job. You don't have those special relationships that I had in college, that I had with my defensive coordinator and people like that. So there was a big distinction between the pros and college. Like I said, I've always said if I had an opportunity to go back and play one game,
It would be college.
I'd be college football.
Well, I feel like college is so, like, you guys are all in it together. And yes, you're still competing with each other because, you're competing to get to the NFL, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, but you guys are all kind of like in that climb together. Whereas, like, you get to the NFL, you guys all made it. Like, you can't.
Well, you all made it, but then you're also fighting for that new
spot
contract,
too,
that spot.
right?
Because think about it, you start the NFL season with 90 players. I mean, you start the off season with 90 players. Only 52 make the team, and only 46 dress a game.
Right.
So now you're looking at 50% of the players. So everyone in that room, you can't trust nobody.
Right.
No one's got your back.
Yeah.
So it's different at that level. And I'll say this openly. I don't give a shit if I get criticism from it, but I've had some of my worst coaching in the NFL. By far. And it's crazy. You think it's the highest pinnacle in the world. You work your whole life there. And I've had some of the worst coaching experiences I've ever been involved in. It's kind of sad because some of those coaches, didn't make it. A little envious, right? So they create that tension.
They're a little bitter.
They're a little bitter. So it's, listen, I was truly blessed on both levels. Extremely grateful. I'm extremely thankful for what I was able to accomplish. So for that, I'm just, I'm very thankful for what I've done, but there's definitely a distinguish between both of them for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I could see that. Okay. Third email is from Curtis. Mandy and Sabby, I'm looking at your podcast during lunchtime while sending you this email and want to let you know how proud I am of you both. You have set the standard by which all podcasts should follow. That's nice.
That's nice.
Mandy, my best memory of you is when you lifted 305 pounds in training back in 2017. Good old days. Forgot about that. I have a video of that, actually. That was at the PC. I said, this athlete is more than meets the eye. All haters can go to hell. Y'all, because the power alphas will go forward. As Mandy always says, put some respect on my name. I love it, Curtis. That's a really nice email, first of all. Thank you. And we're glad you're enjoying the podcast. We take a lot of pride in trying to inspire others here, and we have this platform that we can chat on and just make it real authentic and, organic is what we like. So we appreciate that. And yeah, good old days when I lifted 305. That was in that might have been
that deadlift 305?
I think it was the deadlift when I actually just came across that video. It was in the PC because I heard Sean.
Dude, you're like
in the
ridiculously
background.
strong, by the way. I was even watching you work out today from the sauna. You're doing like 30-pound single leg squats. Yeah, you're pretty strong.
Ben, did you see my muscle?
Do it again. Do it again. There it is.
Yeah.
Your legs are actually very strong.
So I've always had strong legs. Even
Yeah.
when I was little, my brothers used to laugh because my nickname was Fatso. I wasn't fat.
Thought it was hamburgers.
Both Fatso and hamburgers.
Hamburgers,
Yeah.
Ben.
Talk about getting a complex. Why I became a bikini model. So yeah, I just always was like, I was like, because I was shorter and little, like I felt like I was just stocky.
Big boned.
Yeah, but not even big bone because I'm petite, so like I can't even call myself big bone. But I was like,
Pleasantly plump.
all right, you're done. But no, I just always had a lot of muscle. Even my legs and my butt were just always like this. Like I was just like rock solid even before I started lifting. So I think I had that kind of foundation. Yeah, definitely different body than like my brother Gary.
Oh, good.
Did you play any
Started
sports?
working out.
Did you play any sports?
Yeah, gymnastics. I think
Okay.
which gave me that kind of build a little bit when I was young. And then it was lacrosse, softball, basketball was my favorite. I played until like middle school. I really should have stayed, but I became really like girly in middle school and thought that like I should just be like dancing and do cheerleading, which I was more athletic. I think sports was definitely my forte.
Ben, you can't really tell now in what she's accomplished, but she was like a little tomboyish when she was
Yeah,
a
I was
kid.
a little tomboy.
She thought she was like a boy.
Well, I grew
yeah?
up with 3 older brothers.
Oh, yeah,
So, yeah, and they were all like crazy strict. So, like, for me to like act girly, I felt like I always had to like, I could only do it like in my room, like with finally, like, I would get like, makeup or dolls or whatever it was. And I'd like be by myself because I couldn't do that with my brothers. Like, I was constantly doing things, boy stuff outside, wrestling.
So you'd put the makeup on, wipe it all off, come outside, and like nudge
Literally.
one of them.
Well, my dad jokes around sometimes and he brings it up. He's like, for what you are now, it's so funny. He's like, you didn't even want to brush your hair. And I was like, I know. I was like Raggedy Ann. Like, you look at pictures, I'm like, ooh, like my hair was all like I just didn't want to. I didn't want my mom to brush it. I was very much of a tomboy. So crazy. But
love it.
thank you, Curtis, for that amazing email. We really appreciate that you're enjoying it. And for those of you that are new to watching our podcast, we are doing a special giveaway. Last week was the 25th episode. So I'm going to have a separate video for the actual giveaway with all the goodies that I had here last week. A lot of good prizes like coffee table book, my action figure, cover of magazines, some clothes, shaker, but all these really good goodies. And all you have to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel. We want to continue to give you guys the best content. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as OnlyFans TV, which is a new platform for us, which I will be uploading a new vlog there very shortly, which was from WrestleMania week, so that should be exciting. We also have a Google form link that I'm going to have attached here as well for you guys to enter the giveaway. You can put your information and we'll check to see, obviously that you subscribed. And the deadline to enter the giveaway is May 1st. So thank you guys for listening. My next appearance right now is War on the Shore, which is at Martell's Tiki Bar in Point Pleasant on July 16th in New Jersey. So hopefully I can see y'all there. And we got some good guests coming, maybe next week.
I'm excited.
too.
We got a big guest coming. I'm not going to give any.
No, don't.
I'm going to give a
tell 'em.
little hint. He's arguably the greatest college football player of all time. And I'm going to say he's probably top 3 greatest athletes of all time. So you might want to tune in to next week's episode. It is going to be special. We have a
And
very special guest.
If you guys want to take a guess,
If you want to
by
take a guess,
going
go ahead.
off of what Sabby just said,
I'll give you, there's 2 hints right there.
give us your guesses in the comment section.
Yeah.
And whoever gets them will get a shout out.
Yeah,
about
that's a
that?
good one. So the
By
two,
him himself.
Yeah, so the two hints I'll give you.
love
He's
that.
probably the greatest college football player of all time, and I'm gonna say he's top 3 greatest athletes to ever step on an NFL football field. So
Should you give them one more hint?
Nah, I
'Cause
can't.
I feel like
Those
there's a
are
lot
2.
of greats.
no, they can figure
Maybe
it out with
something
that one.
Yeah.
I think so.
I feel like there's a lot of amazing college athletes.
Well,
and
I think this hint should be the best hint. Is when I
Okay.
say he's, I don't want to say he's the greatest athlete because there's 2 that come to my mind. There's 3, but I'm going to say he's top 3 greatest athlete to ever step on a football field.
okay. All right. Well, we'll leave it at that then.
We'll
You
leave it at
guys
that.
take a wild guess, and
We'll go from there.
we'll see you guys next week.
All right.